Right, this is the idea I'm going to try. It's like a moulding around the nut. This is just a test piece I've put on. Now the problem with this is it's okay if it's going to turn this way, like anti-clockwise as we're looking at it here, because that's going to be tightening the nut. We don't want reverse on here. As soon as it goes in reverse, it's going to be trying to undo this nut, basically. Now the only, well, couple of ways of possibly getting around that is using some Loctite. I don't know how good, or even super glue, to try and thingy it, drill a hole through with pin through or something like that, which I do not want to do. I'm trying to put that off. I don't want to like damage the stepper motor tapered spline shaft. That's a tapered spline on there. Still got this washer thing on here that stops it going too far there. So I'll put this one on. The one just printed this one out. I'll get all connected up and we'll see how well it does. But I'm hoping that that will be enough to grip this enough, so to speak, because it was always slipping. Right, I've fitted it onto here. There is a split washer under there. I've tightened that up as much as I can by hand. I'm going to try to see if I can undo this, and I expect even with the split washer in there I will be able to. Yep. So that nut just turns in the thing. I'll tighten it back up. I don't want it coming. I'm tightening that up by hand as much as possible. The problem there is if you put it in reverse, which I do want on this for the shredder, if it gets jammed or whatever, it's going to undo itself. Now the only couple of things I can think of there is some Loctite. I don't know how well that would do. And like a pin through, which I don't want to do, a metal pin. Okay, so that's a bit of a look around there before I put it actually on the shredder part. Right there, it is all put together. I've had to put the bolt through this slot here, hole in there. The bottom of this one underneath is all chewed up for the head. Apart from that, it's got this sort of attachment I showed you. Turn it on, that's turning. So that's turning that way, which is tightening up the nut. If it's going to do anything, it's going to tighten up that nut. The problem would be if it jams, and I don't want reverse on this, that's going to undo that nut, but I don't know if any Loctite would do that. It does have a spring washer sort of thing on there. Here's one I was trying, doing earlier. More than trying, it did chew it up. Let's try this same one, quite thin, about 1mm thick. That was slipping. Right. I don't know what happened there. It's certainly slipped. I noticed it slipping there. Well, if it does slip, it's going to tighten that nut even more to a certain extent. I have to watch my fingers, obviously. Not all that fast, this. Using this windscreen wiper motor. Let's zoom in a bit on there. Let's get a bit closer. So let's see what's going on. seems to be turning slower than earlier on. These do have two motors. Generally these have two speeds, these wiper motors. This one, I think it's a low speed, is knackered. The carbon bush is bust inside, and it's not worthwhile. So it's breaking that, it's cut through that so much. I don't do much more than that. Obviously, in a way, we want bits to have gravity to press down on this, but this is just prototyping. That is, if this will pull focus. Well, I've turned it off because I have to go and fish this back out. It went flying, as you see. Hopefully. Try and get that in so you can see if it's turning or not. Can you see that? Sorry, I might just made it out turning there. It's hard. I have to concentrate on where it's cutting here because I don't want to chop my fingers off or something. And it's jammed, it's not turning at all there. Let's turn our power off a bit. Ah, yeah, I can see the motor moved slightly there. Yeah, I can see the motor. This whole motor is moving when I switch it on and off, so it's certainly jammed. And I'll show you that. You might see this, just let me zoom out a little bit. Might switch it on. You see like the torque and power there. Let me pull this out if I can. Wiggle it out. No. This is one reason I want reverse on this motor. Let's try this again. Let's see, is that warm? It's only lukewarm, what we call lukewarm. As I say, that nut, if this is slipping at all, it should be tightening up that nut. I get a washer in because it's mainly, if you see this, if you watch that washer, you might see that slipping. Let's see. So there's a good piece there in the middle. I'm going to attempt, that's about 4 or 5 millimeters thick infill. Not sure, 30% maybe. It's almost like the blade's not touching that there. I think having this blockade certainly does help cut it. See, I might have noticed it, just touching it there and it jumped. It's jammed there, and this is not turning. So there's not enough torque in the motor to cut through that 100, like 100%, so to speak. If I can get this out again, it's without having reverse on here. All I need to do is swap the wires over, or if I ever get going, I'll have a switch so that it'll switch the wires over for me. and get this back on. So let's try this edge again. Oh, it's jammed again. Jammed again. When it jams, it's like the full, almost distance of the cutting blade. Details about the cutting blade here. Try to bit of an angle like this, which might not be so. It's almost like it's not. It's almost like the blades are missing it. Well, we're getting that all right. I'm pressing quite firmly in as much as I can into this corner, and then if I let go of it, it's probably just going to jump out. I mean, those blades should be sticking up a reasonable amount. I want to try and keep this in so you can see if that's turning when this jams at all. I think it certainly is better to hold it. I think it's better to hold it at a bit of an angle like this. Well, you can see that's cut up that, because look how much is left of it. I'm just going to show you that. I'll show you the ball underneath. Let's try this chunk here, which again has been cut previously. Well, let me try putting it at an angle. So I'm not moving this. Listen, it's almost like the blades are sometimes catching and other times not. Sometimes it jerks. Almost I'm having to hold this just the right way, just the right angle and such like to get it cut at all. Let me zoom in on that if I can. I don't know what's happening there. I think it seems like the blades are much lower down than what I expected. That's jammed there. Yep, and that is turning this disc here. So I focus there. You see it's turning quite a bit there. Let's turn that off. I'll take this apart and I'll show you this. Just now I'm going to get to turn a bit more. So presumably it's chewed up the head of like the nut shape in this other side there that I showed you earlier. You see that disc is turning there. There's no way that's going to grip. I think even with a metal pin through there it might be a bit iffy. Let's have a look at the ball. Let's look at this first. So I think it's took a bit off there. Certainly took something off this piece I had. See the infill there. Right, let's have a look at the ball. Oh yeah, this ball was empty. As I say, quite granular. Using this cutting blade. So some success there. I'm going to have to think about if I want to keep using this motor or not. Whether I'm going to put a pin through there or what. I'm trying to put that off. I don't want to really do that, but it might be the only way of getting this to not slip at all. Even that might slip. Only one way to find out, that's to do it. But I'm reasonably pleased with that. As I say, I seem to be having to hold it at certain angles, and it seems like those blades there and cutting it sometimes, it seems like they're missing it. Just show you the ball again, and this is just what's been done in these few moments there. So some progress, I think. On that hand. I just went to pick it up there, and it's pretty hot, the motor now. Quite hot. I wouldn't want it to get too much hotter than that. I mean, I can touch it, but that is hot, I would say 45. Yep, so I've taken it apart. As you can see, the nut there is almost cutting a disc, like a round thing into it. So this is, you know, just getting chewed up in there. You know, this is turning in a way to tighten it up. There's a washer that I used the tapered V-nut to gradually fit it on the tapered spline that is on here. This does have, as I say, a ring. Let's see. Oh, I can't really undo that, not by hand actually. This motor does turn if you turn this, even though it's a worm gear. That is on there very tight indeed. I'll show you that that is certainly getting chewed up. So I either need a bigger head, need something different to this, that's for sure, if I want it to grip at all. Even when it is gripping, I think it might be still jamming a bit. So I don't think there's quite enough torque. There's almost. Showing around. Look at my, just in case you don't want to see my other videos. So there's a motor tank. And I actually wired the wires opposite to what I'm showing you here to get it to turn in the other direction. Okay. Just trying to show you the teeth on there if I can. So it's sticking up on light. Sticking up a bit above the surface there. I'll let you have a look at the blade from underside. See, all I've got is like bigger diameter holes drilled in this wood for these bolt heads, and then go into a smaller hole. Just bit of MDF sort of shelving